Give me line three, guys. I meant line three. Give me line three. Go ahead. Thomas, you're up. Go ahead, please.
Michael, how are you? Hey, I'm a defense contractor and I'm a licensed weapons manufacturer, so I understand both sides of this. What Homeland Security is doing here is they're issuing a contract to buy up to that amount of ammo if they want it. They're probably not going to buy it, but by issuing a contract, and they're going to issue this contract to more than one ammo maker. The lady from New Mexico was correct. It's a way to control the amount of market that's available on the commercial market at any time. If they go to the ammo manufacturers and say, give me 50 million rounds, give me another 30 million rounds, if they periodically do this in increments, they're going to control how much ammo is available on the commercial market. As part of their contract, it stipulates in there that when the government calls and says, give us another quantity, that everything they make has to go to the government priority one before any of it goes to the commercial market. So when things get tough or they get nervous, all they have to do is use that contract that they have in place for 1.6 billion rounds, and they just say, give us some more, give us some more. And
now, Thomas, you're a weapons manufacturer. You supply the government. I'm surprised you even called my show. Has this? Well, look, we're getting reports that ammo prices have gone up 100% over the last few months since these huge orders have been put in place. Is that what you're seeing out there in the real world?
Well, the yes and no. I want to say the gun show gougers, the guys on the secondary market, whoever has it, yes, it's supply and demand. The ammo, the prices are going way up. The legitimate sources for industry and the real channels, the prices have gone up a little bit, but it's just not available. The legitimate sources and the guys who deal it, the prices are staying about the same, but it's all back ordered. In fact, the ATF and the State Department, they're kind of jerking around with the importation of it too. So they're making it difficult for it to come in from overseas. Because right now, all of the domestic manufacturers are running at full speed. They're running 3 shifts a day. They're cranking it out as fast as they can. Supply cannot keep up with demand.
Thomas, where do you get all the brass from? Where do you get all the lead from? Where do you get all the powder from?
That was going to be my next point. Very few companies who make ammo really do make all of their own components that go into it. The big guys, Olin Corporation that owns Winchester, Alliant Tech Systems that owns Federal, etc. These are the big guys, and they really can do their own stuff. They'll source the capital goods, the brass from both imported and domestic sources, make the primers and the projectiles, the lead. They'll get it in different sources, and they'll smelt it themselves. They really can do it all.
But wait, hold on. This is an important amateur question. Isn't there a finite amount of brass, lead, and powder available?
There is. You know, those sources of capital goods you can find out there, but you're right. There's only so many guys.
You see, I touched on this subject last night on my show where I said that there is a finite limit to our economy, and it's a false notion to think that we can continuously expand our economy and that we can continuously expand the job market. It's a false notion. I believe, by the way, this country's maxed itself out given our natural resources. Incidentally, it's a topic for another time. But, you know, that rule applies to everything on Earth. There's also a finite amount of raw material for making bullets on the planet, aren't there?
That's correct, and it's a limit as to who's producing the raw goods. The ammo manufacturers call up and order more copper so they can copper jacket the bullets. Well, guess what? The plumbers still need copper to make their pipes. Everybody in different industries still has to compete for the same raw capital.
Right, and now we have a shortage of copper to the extent that grifters are stealing copper out of houses, stealing them from telephone poles, stealing copper out of, you name it, okay? How much of this is going into the ammunition world? I don't know. Where's it going? I don't know, but it's certainly in short supply to begin with. Now we have this purchase of 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition by the Department of Homeland Security, which is obviously an attempt to dry up the ammunition market, to control the ammunition market, to make sure that the average guy out there has to pay through the nose for his ammo. That's the end result here, isn't it?
Yes. In the contracting world, it's called an IDIQ contract. Indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity. That means the government's putting out a solicitation to say, look, we don't know how much we're going to need. We don't know when we're going to need it, or even if we'll need it. But if we do, we want to have an agreement in place with one or more providers that we can just call you up and say, send it. And that's what they're going to.
You know, I think we've just made news on the show tonight, Thomas. I haven't read what you just said in any report, and you claim to be a weapons manufacturer, and I have to take you on your word. This is a supply and demand issue. The government is trying to dry up the supply because the demand is so high. I mean, how many guns have been sold since Obama started messing around in this country? Well, I don't know the number. Millions of new guns have been sold since this guy took office. People are afraid of him. He frightens the American people. He is the most frightening American president in modern American history, despite the double talk of the media. So people are rushing out to buy guns to protect themselves, and these are ordinary people. They're not crazy people. But what does a gun need? A gun needs a bullet. So the government says, okay, we can't control the guns because of the Second Amendment, but the Second Amendment says nothing about your right to buy ammunition, so let's dry up the supply of ammo. That's it in plain English, right?
That's it. And by issuing these contracts, as I mentioned, the government gets priority. All they have to do is call up and say, send us another $50 million.
Oh.
And that's $50 million.
Thomas, you're a great caller. Did you just start listening to this show recently?
Well, just since you came on to WMAL not too long.
Amazing. Well, I'm showing you the pool of intelligence in America. Look at the callers we've had in the last 30 minutes on this show. A federal agent who says, yes, we do use hollow point ammo. Thomas, who says, I manufacture weapons. And yes, they're trying to, control the market supply and demand, as we suspect. In other words, they're not going to go to war and kill people in the country necessarily. I would ascribe to that. They're just drying up the supply of ammunition to make sure the average guy out there is not armed to the teeth. He can have all the guns he wants, but what is he going to fire? Peanuts in it? Thomas, I'm sending you as a gift for your great commentary, A Time for War. I'll be right back on the Savage Nation.